Palantir is now trying to cure cancer, both with their data analytics, and now they've put some of their cash into a startup trying to cure cancer. Yes, they have bought yet another SPAC, or bought into yet another SPAC. A few weeks ago, it was buying into flying taxis with their investment into the SPAC Lilium, and now they have bought into another SPAC aiming to take placentas and cure cancer. So does Palantir just have too much cash just sitting there burning a hole in their pocket and they're just trying to find somewhere to throw it? Or is this some kind of smart 4D chess that us mere mortal cavemen just simply cannot comprehend? So that's what I'm here to try and figure out, try and dig into the data here. I wish I had Palantir myself to dig into the data on Palantir. That way we could all understand a little bit better their decision-making process, but I don't. And I'm doing the best I can with this wet noodle up here. So the company that they are buying into is Celularity. Here's the company, the next evolution in cellular medicine. Now, I'm not a big fan of how many syllables are in their name, but that's just a very small criticism. So they just recently entered into this multi-year strategic partnership, both with equity and a partnership using data and the analysis of data. I guess you can guess who's providing the data, who's analyzing the data. But Celularity is to leverage Palantir's software, and this partnership includes in equity investment by Palantir. So Palantir is buying in to Celularity. The investment amount combined with previous PIPE investments, which is private investment in a public equity. It's not yet a public equity. It will be soon after a SPAC merger. And that PIPE investment is over $100 million going to Celularity. We don't know exactly how much of that $100 million is from Palantir, though. It looks like this is multiple investments in this PIPE investment to Celularity. So we can only guess exactly how much, but I'm sure it's in the millions. So a little bit more on Celularity here. They're headquartered in New Jersey, probably really close to that deli, that $100 million deli. We'll have to check on Google Maps how close they are to one another. But anyways, they are a clinical stage biotechnology company leading in the evolution in cellular medicine by developing off-the-shelf placental-derived allogeneic cell therapies. That's a sentence I have never said before. And basically what they're doing is they're targeting cancer and other infectious and degenerative diseases, as it says right here. And then I just highlighted harnessing the placenta because I think that that's a funny line to highlight. Also, I know that you guys, a lot of you really like the research that I do. I'm literally, after highlighting harnessing the placenta, I know you guys like my research. If you want to support my research a little bit further and get access to things a little bit sooner, go ahead and join my Patreon. You'll also get buy alerts, more insight on my research, some private live streams, all sorts of things like that. I have just started it, so you can be one of the very first Patreons if you so please. So a little bit more on this partnership. I'm trying to make sense of what exactly they're doing here. And it seems to me that one of the main drivers is not only has Palantir been working in the healthcare industry for a while, just analyzing data here, but also they need data in order to do the best job possible. It seems to me that Palantir has their eyes set on therapies like this, and they see Celularity as a company who is generating tons of data in this field that Palantir will then get access to and be able to build this competitive moat even further around their platform. So I assume there's some kind of combination here between they have a ton of data and fantastic data, and Palantir must see something in the management and the trials of the actual company. At least we can only hope that they see both of those things. Now, we have some more insights that we can derive from this press release. And we can see Celularity will employ Palantir's Foundry platform to secure deeper insights into the data that they get, from their studies. The chief operating officer of Palantir had a really long positive quote about Celularity. Among that quote, he said, "It has the potential to transform the field that they're in and is ideally suited to synergize with Palantir's data capabilities." So that's kind of what I was just mentioning about just having the best data, and I guess the best way to analyze that data seems to make sense. And then there was a further quote that says, cellular medicine represents the next frontier in the treatment of cancer and many other serious diseases. One cannot overlook the enormous value resident in the deep analysis of large and complex data sets when it comes to fighting these diseases. Now, I wanted to understand a little bit further what exactly Palantir can do to help out Celularity. Like, I really wanted to understand how this, I need like a main line to Alex Karp, so I can just be like, yo, Alex, just give me like 2 minutes on why you decided to do this, and then I'll be happy. But no, I gotta figure it out for myself. So if you've ever watched one of Palantir's presentations, they do talk a lot about healthcare, and it's very technical on healthcare. So on their Palantir Foundry page, there's a page within this on healthcare and the various things that they do with healthcare. Now, something that I thought was interesting is they actually had some impact studies that we can cite as to what they're doing for the healthcare industry. And this helps us derive a better idea of what's going on with this partnership with Celularity. So the first here is an impact study at the NIH and how Palantir is able to make research more efficient at the National Institute of Health. And at the bottom here, we can see some of their insights. If I can zoom in, get my fat head out of the way. So NIH researchers have been able to uncover insights in hours that used to require months of data. Basically, exactly what we can expect with Palantir. They made understanding this data much easier in this impact study with the NIH. Now, that's fairly obvious. The next thing we have is unifying patient data to personalized medicine. Now, I think that this in itself would be very attractive to Celularity, because it says in here, a challenge with unifying this data, both with studies and individual patients, is the data is siloed, and data quality issues make it difficult for cancer centers to use data to improve patient outcomes. So we have all this data from various individuals who, this individual had this precondition and ran into these results when they took this medication, and they're all in siloed areas separate from each other, and Palantir is aiming to combine those things and make us a little bit smarter with the data. And a lot of what they're doing seems to be analyzing this patient cohorting, which I looked this up, and it's basically when there's like a clinical study and you have individuals who have similar conditions, or they're taking similar medications, or for whatever reason, they should be grouped together. And then those individuals are seeing result X. Palantir is doing a better job of analyzing, if you do this, if you do X to this group, the outcome Y, what is the common denominators here? It's basically just smart inferences on set groups of individuals who have commonalities between them. And it says that researchers are now able to identify patient cohorts, basically similarities and a better cause and effect, in 30 minutes versus weeks in the past. And it reduces time to collect data for the study. And we have one more impact study here, which is the actual sales, which I found fascinating, that they have done a good job with other healthcare industries to simply help sell their services, increasing profitability and increasing sales. And they do so in fairly common sense matters. It's kind of like Palantir is like this assistant that you have who, sits next to you, and they're just like, hey, you should check this out. And that's basically what Palantir does. It just gives you insights that maybe you couldn't see otherwise. So an example here, identify providers, patients, and regions with growth potential. So that seems pretty obvious. Here's an area you should focus on, but their technology is good enough to where that area is actually the area that you should focus on based on the insights that derive from the data that it has. And at its root, without getting too technical, that's how all this works. Insights, take this action, input that into the system gets a little smarter, new insight, just repeat the cycle here. And we can see that this has resulted in hundreds of new opportunities to gain market share. And here's an opportunity to you to check out the pre-sale for a course that I have coming out very soon on how to start a YouTube channel, start a successful YouTube channel, and how I'm able to earn well into the 5 figures every single month with my YouTube channel. Everything from your very first video, getting over the fact that talking to the camera is awkward, presentation hacks, SEO hacks, everything you literally need, monetizing your channel even when it's small. So that's coming out very soon. There's 70 plus videos here. I'm extremely excited about that. So check out that link down in the description. There's a discount if you join part of the pre-sale. So if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, maybe you already have one, check that out, linked in the description. So does this partnership make sense? I would say yes. And kind of no. Yes, in the fact that they have dealt with so much data in the healthcare industry, and they really have carved a niche here, and they found that, hey, the healthcare industry isn't very smart, and we can make it a whole lot smarter. So we have to assume that they are smart enough to identify a company who's doing something great, and that company has data that they can use to do even more. We have to assume that they're following their fiduciary duty to, identify an opportunity here. Now, there's always the concern of, hey, why aren't they investing this cash back into themselves and trying to just make a return with that, or other things that are more in line, buying other data companies? And to that, we really don't know. We don't know exactly how much they invested. We know that total investment was $100 million. Maybe this was $5 million, and this is just part of their small moonshot bucket. We don't know for sure, and this is something that I cannot wait to see more explanation of in their upcoming shareholder meeting. And I'm looking forward to seeing the reasoning and possibly see what kind of returns they can expect, or they're expecting from these investments. So that's going to do it for today. I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.